Hey folks, Kiltman here, Kiltman, at your services. How are you all? Hope you're doing very, very well. Now, this is the morning after Halloween, so this is November the 1st. And yes, you've guessed it, regular viewers will know that the Kilted Mansion sits precariously within the borders of the UK's Tornado Alley. And we've had yet another crazy, wacky, destructive storm. This is getting all too frequent. I mean, right now you've got the commencing of the COP26 climate change, thing in Glasgow. 30,000 delegates from 200 countries are all descending a 2-week seminar of conferences to try and discuss the fate of our good planet Earth. And what good do you think they're going to do? A bunch of politicians and specialists and advisors sitting together to try and come up with a plan, a solution to save our planet from global climate change and catastrophic destruction? Fuck all, I think. Anyway, there's some damage here. Let's go see, shall we? Let's go see. Now you can see it's dripping like crazy here. The storm itself seems to have abated slightly. Slightly. It's still exceptionally wet, and you can see, there'll be destruction in the cemetery over there, past them trees. I've done videos before in the cemetery showing you the trees that have come down. And of course, right here, right now, we've got a tree that's come down as well. I want you to meet Nigel. Nigel, there, has stood sentry duty outside our conservatory and our kitchen for about 30 years. Well, a lot longer than that, but we've been here for something like, 30 years. And it's been there. And finally, he's come down. And you can see, there is the remains of the stump that he grew out of. And it looks like it's been hit by lightning, doesn't it? Like it's been completely side apart. But it hasn't. I think it is just the weight of the rain has pulled him down. Now, you may notice there's a road traffic sign there, and there's a punch bag. The things you find in the Kilted Garden. But yeah, so I'm going to have to obviously, sadly, cut the poor guy up. And but I believe in recycling, so I will probably make spears out of him. And stakes for vampires. Yeah. I'll do something like that. It's a shame though, isn't it? It's a shame. I mean, the wind has now finally ceased, but I do suspect it's coming back again with a vengeance. And the rain is just not going to let up at all. Now, luckily, some of you regular viewers will know that our leaky mansion finally did get the roof fixed. And although there is a new leak has developed, you fucking know it. You're never going to win, are you? But look at this tree. Oh, that is such a shame that. I mean, he did block out a fair bit of light, but, I did want it to end like this. But I'm going to have to cut that up now and sort him out. So, that was Nigel. And we've got other trees. Got quite a few trees. They're all brown there and around the back there. There's Robert. That's Robert the spruce. He's on a bit of a lean-to at the moment. Not sure quite how that happened, but there is a great big gaping hole there where he was planted, because we had him from a little potted plant in our previous house many moons ago, and he grew out of that. And I genuinely think that lightning did play a part in this. Lightning blew a huge hole there, which I've never really filled in. There's other trees around the back there as well, but I think the weight of the rain actually took him down. Bloody shame. And there's our barrel, of course. What a barrel of laughs you have with this guy. Yeah. So, gonna go inside now and resume this. So you guys wrap up well. Hey folks, we're indoors now. Nice and dry and warm and cosy. Yes. While the rain continues to lash down outside. And the wind was beginning to pick up again. So, I've cobbled together a little playlist of stormy music, and we're commencing with Jerry Goldsmith's The Killer Storm from The Omen. I know I did discuss that quite in depth very recently, but It's perfectly fitting. Now, storms, folks. Look, I'm not political, mate. I just don't get into all that stuff. But when things begin to affect you personally, then, suddenly you've got to find a voice and you've got to react to things. Now, these storms are getting beyond a joke now. I mean, this is the UK. Very moderate, mild weather. Mild winters. Reasonably nice and warm summers. But mild. Medium. Everything is just medium to bland in the UK. Well, it was. Not so much anymore. I know, like in America, you've got Tornado Alley. We now have a Tornado Alley in the UK now. A genuine one. Stretching like through London, Berkshire, up to God, wherever else. Now, got to remember that the UK itself fits into somewhere like Texas at least 3.5 times. So we're a tiny little chunk of land. Tiny. So climate change and the global, effects of all this sort of, calamity really is hammering home on a little tiny island now. So we are all noticing it. Obviously around the world it's wreaking havoc, but in this country here, flooding is ridiculous because of debris on the tracks. Only a few hours ago in Salisbury, 2 trains collided in a tunnel. One had come to a stop, another train slammed into it from another track. Boom! Luckily it wasn't absolute, complete carnage. Everyone survived, but a lot of walking wounded, some people cut from the wreckage. And it's been put down to, storm damage. So you've got this COP thing taking place. COP26. And COP means, hang on, I wrote this down. The UN Climate Change Conference of Parties. So COP is Conference of Parties. And all these guys are, yes, you know it. They're flying in from all over the world, from 200 countries. They're flying in. And they're not flying in, on the backs of seagulls and, vultures. No. They're flying in on personal jets and, big, luxury airliners. Of course they are. And then they're going to sit there and discuss the effects that those flights would have taken on the rest of the world and on the environment. And then they're going to preach to all of us that we can't do what they've just done. And how, heat pumps are the answer. Heat pumps seem to be all the rage at the moment, but in actual fact, most of them don't seem to work. Oh yeah, if you're a great architect and a builder, and you've got some idea of engineering and mechanics, then you can build your house, your totally, weather and climate change proof, environmentally friendly abode with all these new gizmos and gadgets, because you've put them in, because you know what you're doing. But no, what's going to happen to the rest of us poor folk is that the government at some point will insist that we have to have one of these heat pumps to bring down our emissions, which they're the ones who are contributing the far worst emissions by all the fossil fuel bloody factories and plants and stuff that they've got going on. But they're going to insist that we have these fuel pumps, but we've got to pay something towards it. Of course, well, because they can't afford it, can they? So once again, we're going to get hit again. Now, speaking of us getting hit again, God, I used to love this girl, but because in the Avengers, the new Avengers, as Purdy, she's magnificent. And she's also my favourite Bond movie on Her Majesty's Secret Service as well. Yes, Joanna Lumley. We all love her. Nice bit of posh totty. Yeah, for her age, she's weathering extraordinarily well. No pun intended there. But now, because she's an activist as well, she's now coming out and saying what we should be doing. How we should all pull together and all play our part and do our bit. Bring back rationing. Well, I've not had a fucking pay rise for at least 10-15 years because of the big governmental civil service pay freeze. Yeah, you may just have freed up the nurses because you felt guilty about that, and teachers because you felt guilty about that, and I think the police are getting it as well, even though the police are now rapists and murderers. And not vetted very well either. But the rest of us lackeys, oh no, we're not good enough for a fucking pay rise. Oh no. But in the meantime, the cost of living is going up, inflation's going through the roof, energy prices, again, wouldn't you know it, and fuel prices are going beyond the realms of normal man to be able to pay for. And now you want us to start buying heat pumps to look after the world that you fucked up. And Joanna Lumley is saying, right, look, rationing. We're already rationed. We haven't got any fucking money. There's no turkeys for Christmas. There's no fucking turkeys. There's no truck drivers to deliver stuff. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck? You guys have messed all this up, not us. You've messed it up and you make us pay for it. Oh, I know. You've heard all this before because it's an age-old story. It's always the common man, the peasantry, are the ones who pay the taxes and the ones who pick up all the bills for what the government fucking squanders all the rest of the time. But Joanna Lumley, she wants us now to have a point system where, okay, you've got a certain amount of points. Now, with those points, are you going to buy a bottle of whiskey? I can answer that one for you right now. Go no further. Or have a weekend away. You can't have both. Because weekends away, travelling, that's all. We've got to count the cost of our travelling now. Have you counted the cost of your travelling? Folks, if you don't know who Joanna Lumley is, and in the UK you definitely know who she is, she's a national treasure. She has spent the last 15 years or more travelling the world, doing massively lavish TV documentaries, taking us to these distant places, these far off, wildernesses. But she's going first class. In fact, she's going better than first class. She's going pure luxury every time. And she's staying in magnificently opulent places. On the Orient Express, on massive flights into Mongolia and stuff like that. Yeah, she's going to very strange, exotic places in the middle of nowhere. But it's costing the environment untold amounts to get her there and look after her once she's there. She's also the fucking figurehead of, I think it's Saga Holidays, for people that over 50. Shit, that covers me, doesn't it? What are you laughing at? Cheers. So she now is going to preach to us about what we should and shouldn't be doing when she's spent 15 years at least squandering all our taxpayers' money, jetting around the world, globe-trotting, to show us places that she's insisting that we should go and see. Because the culture, it's so diverse, it's so beautiful here. You've got to come and see this. Honestly, you owe it to yourselves. You've got to live life to the fullest. You've got to live every day like it's your last. This is what she's been saying in all these documentaries. And now she's saying we can't do it. No, you can't even have a weekend away. You can't even go to fucking North Wales now because, no. Your emissions from the vehicle. You get a fucking jumbo jet. You get helicopters. Jesus Christ, you're having special trips, taking you out into the desert, the tundra, Siberia, wherever you've gone, the depths of, deepest, darkest India. You go and meet the Dalai Lama. You go and meet all these the descendants of Mongolian warlords. You do all that. Well, that's beyond the realms of us, but you're insisting during these documentaries, you owe it to yourselves to come out there. And now you say we can't even go down the road for a night out. Fucking hell, folks. Fucking hell. Joanna Lumley, you can kiss that after I've shoved it somewhere where you would not like. Fuck you. While we're on the topic of this, and a great big fuck you, I want to give a great big fuck you to the Insulate Britain mob. Yeah, you cunts. You cunts that have a great cause. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I massively believe in insulating Britain. I do. And fighting climate change. Of course, I've just shown you some of the effects of it. We're getting so much more storms, so much more flooding, so much more destruction. It's incontrovertible now. No one can deny climate change. You just cannot. It's happening all the time. We're seeing it. Temperatures rising. Wetter. More storms, more ferocity, more devastation. That's what's happening. As a race, we've caused it. There's no getting around that fact now. But these cunts from Insulate Britain, who've made a bit of a name for themselves, like on TV shows, storming off TV shows, having conversations with TV presenters, what they do is, and they're all walks of life and they're all ages too, but they're just protesters. They'll don their high visibility jackets, their placards, and then they'll go and sit all the way across, the dual carriageways and the motorways and the highways of Great Britain, grinding the nation to a halt and not moving at all. And the police, because the police are so now afraid of doing anything which is going to cause controversy, a bit heavy-handed approach, they actually help these people. and they block traffic. They block ambulances, they block fire engines, they block police cars. They've blocked people who have been going to urgent cancer treatments. Do they give a shit about that? Well, on TV, they say, well, obviously we apologise for that. But you won't fucking move for them. Do you not think that you're taking the argument out on the wrong people? You're taking the argument in the face of the very people you want to back you, when you should be going and blocking and, completely blockading government, Westminster, the very people in power, the ones who've got the decisions to make. You take your argument to them, not us. What the fuck are you thinking? What the fuck are they thinking? You guys are fucking insane. And I'll tell you something else. You're fucking lucky that I can't drive. You are so lucky, because if I could drive, believe you me, I fucking mean this, I would get behind the wheel of a car and I'd go to wherever you are protesting and I'd fucking run you down. My advocation is, if you know someone who's doing this, one of these fucking insulate Britain bullshitters, stand in front of them. Wherever they are, stand in front of them and don't move. Whichever direction they're going, stand in front, block them. If they're in the shop, the supermarket, they're in the corner shop, they're in the pub, block them. Just block them. And if they try to push past you, then that's assault. Because they'll do it to you. If they try to push past you and you're protesting them for getting in your way and the nation's way, then you split their face wide open and make them look like the cunt they really are. Folks, it's the 1st of November. It's the day after Halloween, and Halloween itself was a absolute damp squib. Well, you couldn't expect anything more because the weather was so shit. I remember Halloweens of yore. Then we used to go out trick-or-treating, and that was only like about 5 years ago. And I'd be dressed as a werewolf. We'd have Halloween parties to go to in that pub. Then we'd go to that pub as well, and it was great. But the weather, it was autumnal, as in it was windy, but the wind wasn't cold, and it certainly wasn't wet. Yesterday, fucking hell, it was like someone had picked up the Titanic and squeezed it out over our heads. Oh, look at all that. Come on, water. Fucking driving into your face. Oh my God. It was bouncing up off the deck. It got me killed. This is after I got changed out of my Snake Plissken costume. Because, we went to the Wirral Comic Con. And, another damp squib there. I said to you in that previous video, I said, this is meant to be a rehearsal for what's going to become the forthcoming big Wirral Comic Con, a 2-day event starting next year. Well, no, I'm not going to be harsh on this because it is just tentative steps, baby steps, from little acorns. But basically, you went into the venue and the stalls probably didn't amount to anything bigger than this kitchen. A lot of people were there because I obviously thought, this is going to be good. Okay. No, I'm gonna lend my support to it because you've got to start somewhere, and it could get bigger. And there's plenty of space in that venue, the Floral Pavilion Theatre down in New Brighton. You've got plenty of big sort of halls that you could use, so it could work. And I hope it does. But so that was we were in and out within sort of 25 minutes. But we had a great big meal to go to, but we were drenched by the time we got there. And I was in full Snake Plissken regalia. And I'll tell you what, those Snake Plissken Siberian camouflage pants, which are like spray on because they're so friggin' tight, they're also so very thin, they became see-through, did they not? Oh yes. Oh yes. You didn't realise that when Kurt Russell was running around, St. Louis, because it wasn't filmed in New York, but you guys know that. Dearly me. And then trick-or-treaters, the wearing on. No, I mean, you couldn't blame them. It was horrible. It was lashing down. So, climate change, again, it's destroying Halloween as well. Good God, how many more things am I going to complain about? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not complaining about this. My good lady wife went to a party the other night and came back with some of these cans. Glen Affric Brewery, Lock and Load, Lock as in Scottish Lock. And you've got antlers as part of this emblem, from a stag. Lock and Load Pilsner. We've taken the classic Pilsner style and turned it on its head with heaps of New Wild hops from New Zealand. From New Zealand? So why do you call it Lock and Load as a Scottish lock? There's nothing remotely Scottish about this. And where's it brewed? Brewed and canned. Glenafric Brewery. 3, I can't read that. Lightbox, Knox Street, Birkenhead. Birkenhead, folks, is just down the road that way. There's nothing remotely Scottish about this can or what's in it. So, false advertising, why'd you do that? Why do people do that? Oh, he's on one now, isn't he? So yeah, I've been playing some stormy music. You heard the Killer Storm. I had the abduction sequence from Poltergeist, where the storm's lashing down and poor little, is it Jimmy, the little lad, gets dragged into the tree and his dad has to get him out of the tree because the tree's devouring him. You know, you wouldn't get over that very quickly, would you? And that's the start of the film. Little Carol Ann gets sucked into the TV screen and all that. Oh, Jesus. And this was just, that was the Coast Guard rescue from The Perfect Storm, from James Horner, The Perfect Storm, which is what I seem to be living through at the moment. It's nothing but non-stop perfect storms. They now reckon that in the UK, because we have our own tornado analysis, say we have 50 to 60 tornado hits that land and travel up and down that path. Christ almighty, you know. Now, we've had tornado hits here a couple of times, but we do have this terrible sort of cyclic, environmental effect here because of the way the houses are structured and the way the shape of the streets are here. At the back there, the wind, whatever direction it may come from, southwesterly, northeasterly, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's going to go through the trees of the cemetery. It's going to whistle round the back here, and what it's going to do as well, it gets funneled in an anti-clockwise, let's get this right, an anti-clockwise direction. So it hits the houses over that way, and it then gets bounced and funneled back this way. So it comes rippling up the backs of these houses here, including Kilt Mansion. And many other videos have borne testimony to the damage that's done. So I'm going to go out a little bit later on with Roxy, and we're going to have a little inspection in the cemetery because I know there's going to be a lot of damage there, a lot of damage. Tombstones go over. The wind is that strong, and some of the foundations on some of these tombstones are so withered and worn and eroded that it just doesn't take much. It's just going to come down. But loads of trees and the boughs of trees are going to be strewn all over the place. It will look like it's been a cyclone has whipped through the entire area. It might be at the end of Poltergeist. You're going to have all coffins upturned. The air is upheaval. So who else can I rant at now? We've done all the dickheads who are flying in for this COP26, who are going to just pontificate and bullshit for the next 2 weeks and have big executive lunches. And how much has the taxpayer paid to get these people here? They could have done this on Zoom. And who's notable by their absence? Well, Brazil isn't going. Putin isn't going from Russia. And China's not going. China, who is the king, the dynastic emperor of all global emissions, China, and you're not going. So they're a big fuck you to China as well. Oh, and let's not forget something else China did. Oh, what was it now? About just over a year ago. What was it you did? Oh yeah, you unleashed COVID on the world. So this is how I've started off November. Oh my God. Well, because Christmas is cancelled, of course. No turkeys. We'll have no money left to buy any presents. There'll be another COVID and flu sort of combined epidemic. So we'll be in lockdown and you won't be able to go and have family Christmas dinners anymore. Who knows? Who fucking cares now? We've always got movies. Always fall back on the movies. Always fall back on fantasy and escapism. Because that, folks, is all you've got left. I don't know. What is the answer? I haven't got the answers. I haven't. But I know who hasn't got the answers as well. And they're the ones who are making the decisions which are going to affect you. They're the ones you're meant to put your trust in, and they're going to do the right thing. No, they're not going to do the right thing. They're still going to make their millions. They're still going to have massive expense accounts. They're still going to live the life of luxury. And they're going to do nothing for the rest of us apart from charge us and put more sanctions and restrictions on us. That's all that's going to happen. That's all you're going to get from this. And it's only going to get wetter as well. Wetter, more miserable. I would say colder, but the whole world's warming up. That's the thing. That's why you're getting more wet, inclement weather and more ferocious storm systems, because they just can't compete. There's just too much going on. The old seasons used to be in their right place. Depending on what hemisphere you were on, you had the wet season, the rainy season, you had summertime, you had springtime, all the new buds were bursting open, new shoots were coming up, everything was all full of life. And then summertime was great, then autumn, Halloween time. You could smell the smoke on the air. Oh, you can't smell that fucking smoke now. You can't. All you can smell is just wet, just fucking rain. And then winter, snow, well, to be honest, we never really got snow in this country anyway. Never really did. Only on the bloody mountaintops. Only when I was fucking training in the Marines, every fucking time I went up a mountain, bloody blizzards hit you. Every single time. Literally, you could see the sunlight in the valley down below. And we're like, oh, Jesus. A little shell scraping. Oh, trying to put your bivvy up. Oh, God, fucking hell. Big harbour area in a fucking snow blizzard whiteout. And you can see people down below, aren't they? Shorts and t-shirts, in beer gardens. Ooh, hey. Right. Enough of this inane frivolity. Oh, here's another nice bit of doom-laden, stormy music. Again, from The Perfect Storm. This is to the Flemish Cap. They're going to go... Our sword fishermen are going to go further out. They know bad weather's there, but they need to make their quota, so they've got to get out there and get the fish. But James Horner's music is full of brooding menace and foreboding. I think we'll end with a bit of Vaughan Williams, which is Fantasia on a... what is it called? I can't see what it's called now. Doesn't matter. Fantasia on a string, something or other. It's a beautiful piece of music, and it does play in the film Master and Commander, which is, I think, Russell Crowe's last great movie. And it's a wonderful sequence where the storm has hit them and they realise they're going to have to cut some of the mast down. The mast goes, it's dragging the ship down, so they've got to cut the mast loose. But there's a guy stuck on the... well, I think there's a couple of guys who were at the top of the mast, the rigging, and they're stuck out of it in the raging seas, and they're trying to haul them back, but they're not going to do it. And the order's given, just chop through it. And you see these guys like just in bobbing up and down the waves, calling for help in the tempest. And this beautiful music plays, beautiful but tragic at the same time. And I've got to go and cut up Nigel. No. He used to scratch at the window just over there. So I'd be doing videos or whatever, I'd be writing, and you'd hear, and it was Nigel just scratching at the glass. It was eerie, but it was also kind of reassuring at the same time, because I knew what it was. It wasn't any ghostly, vampiric Glick brother scratching at the glass. Let me in. It was just Nigel. So folks, yeah, a Monday morning rant. No one likes Monday mornings, do they? Especially after such a wild weekend, because I was off on the Friday as well. So I was out the Thursday, I was out Friday, I was out Saturday, I was out yesterday. I will be out again later. The anguished strings. They've got it. You've got to cut these men loose, because if you don't cut that mast, the whole ship's going to go. For a scene fraught with action, tension and tragedy, it's beautiful music. It's haunting, isn't it? It's also not what you'd expect from a scene like that, but it is just truly beautiful. And I think, yeah, we'll end it there. Folks, there you go. I have been always Shelby Kiltman. I always will have issues. Alcoholism being one of them. A ferocious hatred of friggin' rain. And dickheads who intrude upon your life. Because this thing about these protesters, as you will know, because you're not stupid, all of these movements get infiltrated by people who just want to cause trouble and disruption, and they'll hijack anything under the guise of doing the right thing, and people will get swept up in it. And you're seeing there's teachers, there's nurses, there's all sorts of people with high-standing sort of jobs, and older people, retired people who should know damn sight better, who are sitting there and they get moved away politely, and then they just go and sit back in front of the vehicles again. There has been some retaliation. They've been squirting ink in the faces of these people. Me personally, I just put my boot through their face. I don't care if you're 16 or you're 60. You know, if you're in my way and I'm going somewhere and you've stopped me, I'm going to put you down. It's as simple as that. Oh, and the police, what exactly are you going to do about it? You're not stopping them and you're helping them. So, and I of all people know about the people that are in the police right now. The dregs who are fulfilling their ranks and pounding the beat on our streets. Well, I would say pounding the beat, but how many fucking coppers do you see? Well, they're all out looking after these protesters, aren't they? They're not anywhere else. They're all going to be all over this fucking mob up in Glasgow, aren't they? The COP26, they'll be looking after all of them. Oh, God, yeah. Leaving you and I to fend for ourselves. Folks, I have been always Shelby Kiltman, so please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. And I am going to see you all. Fucking namaste. Namaste. I'm fucking nasty.